From last week's video, we made it to the KOA Grandy Creek location for 2 weeks, and we did end up switching to a 50 amp full hookup spot the very next day on Monday. And since all the wildfires have closed off all major roads leading to the North Cascades, we ended up deciding to hike the neighboring Mount Baker National Forest. About 2 hours of a drive, and with Kenai looking forward to getting back on trail, we head off early in the morning, but as usual, we stop shortly in Mount Vernon for a little bit of coffee. Jess, should we just move to the Pacific Northwest and start us a coffee stand?
Honestly, it's a low-key dream.
Yeah, I mean, that would be so much fun.
A little coffee stand with maybe like a little reading nook or something for my reading girlies.
This is my chocolate chip muffin. You gotta grab it, man.
You gotta be quicker than that, bro.
There you go.
It's okay. Out of 10, I give it like a 5, a 6 out of 10.
5.
It's not bean me up coffee, but it's still good. It's still good.
Going into this hike, Jess and I have no idea what to expect. We're hoping to see some of the beautiful northern Washington landscapes we have been waiting all summer for, and after a 2-hour drive, we end up at the beginning of a very long, bumpy forest road. How was your drive up?
It's very bumpy.
It was bumpy. It's a forest road, so it was to be expected. But we have a nice view of Mount Baker, and one thing that comes to mind is, like, I'm surprised this isn't a national park. I mean, Mount Baker is just as gorgeous as Mount Rainier and Mount Hood that we've seen, so it's just a good sight to see. To say this place blows me away on how beautiful it is would be me downplaying, as Washington is an incredible place to be as a hiker in the summertime. The trail we're venturing today is the Tommy Hole Lake Trail out in Mount Baker National Forest. From the trail preview and the photos, this will take you up and across the ridgeline for a beautiful view of Mount Baker and some of the nearby lakes. Something else that we learned on trail from a few hikers passing by was that at a certain vantage point, we would be able to see the peaks which belong to neighboring country Canada, with only a valley and a lake separating us. To me, a North Carolinian, that is wild, but it's also fascinating. It's crazy how much is over in Washington. Just the sheer amount of beauty. Mount Rainier, Olympic National Park. We're not even in the Cascades, but this is Mount Baker National Forest. You guys definitely got the good stuff. So we would definitely be back to Washington next summer, and to get to go see the North Cascades. We didn't get to see it this time around in the extent that we wanted to, just because of all the wildfires that are going on. All the hikes we had chosen, the wildfires were affecting on closing down the roads to get to them. But I did get to go see Diablo Lake last week, which was nice. So go back and watch that film. You get to go see a little bit of Diablo Lake, and it just didn't work out that we get to go see it again this week because we're a little bit further out, and we used yesterday as kind of just a rest, catch-up day, and that is much needed in the RV world, I would say. As we close out this hike, it feels as if we're slowly closing out our time here in Washington. The past 2 months honestly have been nothing short of what people would call bucket list worthy. Seeing Rainier on 2 separate occasions, Olympic, and now Mount Baker. All before we move on back east to Yellowstone and the Grand Tetons here shortly. Honestly, I will never forget how beautiful this place is, nor how I'm already looking forward to coming back this time next year. And at the same time, I'm already reminiscing and in anticipation of next year's trip. And from here, we move on to a place called Diamond Lake, about an hour north of Spokane, before making the 4-day trek down to Wyoming as the temperatures start cooling off and we get to spend our first ever fall in Bluebird. And thank you all for hanging out with us today. And if you're new here, feel free to give a subscribe to keep up with this RV travel journey as we attempt a decade on the road. And new films every Sunday. Peace out, much love, and we will see you next week.